The Tasty Freeze, located in Montezuma, Indiana. We offer over 32 soft-serve flavors of creamy, delicious ice cream, hand-breaded pork tenderloin, famous homemade pony sauce, and don't forget our roasted chicken.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again.
Open Tuesday through Sunday, 10:30 to 9:30. To place an order, call 765-245-2887. We appreciate your business.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks for coming. Thought it was my phone, but I don't think it was. Make sure I got it off. Yep, it's off. All right. We have minutes from the March 18th meeting to approve.
Yes. If everybody's looked at them, I make a motion we approve the minutes for 2/18/2024.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. All right, then we have payroll in the amount of $217,875.48, and then a second one for Union Hospital Security of $2,607.61.
I make a motion we approve payroll, amending 217,875.48, and Union Hospital Security, $2,670.61.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then we have a payroll correction to approve in the amount of $1,250 for the general, and then a $1,500 for Kathy Hendricks.
No, Kathy Collins is Hendricks County reimbursed health.
Oh, Kathy's column. Okay, yeah, okay. That's an insurance item there.
Yeah.
So we need motions to approve those corrections.
Make a motion we approve the two corrections in the payroll, the one for $1,250 and one for $1,500.
I second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, then we need to acknowledge receipt of the payroll claims accounts payable report in the amount of $162,836.13.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of payroll claims accounts payable in the amount of $162,836.13.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Oops, sorry about that.
Okay.
There's two of them there, Jim.
Okay, then we have accounts payable claims report, the amount of $555,189.80.
Make a motion motion, we approve accounts payable claims in the amount of $555,189.08.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Then we have 3 out-of-cycle checks. So you want to tell us what you got?
Exoff, it's our yearly
Mhm.
maintenance payment, and the second one of 5 for us getting them.
Okay.
And it, depending on, we had to do an additional appropriation when the council approved that Thursday.
Okay.
Than that. Lane tree for the bridges, it's $2,800.
Remember we had them take the trees off of a couple of bridges.
couple
And none of
bridges.
us got the bill.
Right.
Coxville, when that tree went through Coxville Bridge, I think.
That was one, but these 2 are 2 other bridges that had trees overhanging.
Portland and Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson Bridge and Portland Bridge.
And then they've got Roseville, the Coxville Bridge.
Coxville, yeah.
And then Janie brought VS Engineering is for inspection of the,
Melcher.
yes, Belcher Bridge.
Yeah.
It's $924.55. Exoff is $77,392.
So your total here is correct of $81,916.55.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna retype it.
That's fine. So I make a motion, we approve the 3 out-of-cycle checks as presented by the auditor for $81,116.55.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. That it, ma'am?
That's it.
Okay. We'll go into new business here. We're going to insert a new business first, and then we'll get on to Stephanie after that. We've in the process of, beginning the process to hire a new highway superintendent. Our current highway superintendent was planning to retire at the end of May, so we were going to post the job this week, in fact, for his replacement. But he had some medical issues last week, and he's unable to come back. And so we've had to figure out how we're going to get by until such time as we do get this new highway superintendent hired. We intend to hire him with a couple weeks left at least of Randy's working time to spend time with the highway superintendent, so we'd have an easier transition into the new position, but that's impossible now. Randy's doing well, he's going to be fine, but he had a stroke and had some difficulties from that. So we wish him and his family obviously the best that we possibly have out of that. But we've had to make a choice of trying to decide who could do the interim superintendent job and keep the highway department functioning until such time as we have a new highway superintendent. So I met with the highway department a couple of times, explained the process, how we're going to do this, but this is a new wrinkle that we had not planned on. So we need someone in the department to step up and act as interim superintendent to make sure that the jobs needed to be done, continue to be done until such time as we hire the new individual. So we had a couple who were interested in doing that interim position, and we met with them today in executive session to have a discussion with the performance of the positions and see what they were thinking and who they might be interested. And we, of course, can't make any decisions in executive session, but we can gather information on those things in an executive session. So now in our open meeting, we are ready to pick one of those 2 gentlemen, and we are pleased that both of them have stepped up to be willing to take on that job. And so we had two step up and willing to do it, and now we need to pick one to do that. So anyone have a motion to make which one to use?
I make a motion, we choose Mike Wood to do the temporary position until we are able to fill it.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to choose Mike Wood to fill that position until such time as the new superintendent is hired. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I will call them both tonight and let them know what the decision is. We appreciate both their interests. It's always tough. It's part of the job I hate, whether we're hiring people, whatever we're doing, where you get more than one application and you only get to pick one. So I always hate those things, but that's where we are. So we appreciate that. Now in new business, we have Stephanie Laws. Stephanie is our appointee to the Health Department and the Health Department Board. She's president of the board.
Hang on.
And
You can bring my purse back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even look at it. I see it was a chair short.
There you go.
Don't worry, the sheriff's here.
Just a minute. Oh, you're right on that.
so we,
Got too far, he didn't shoot at me.
So we had an opportunity to come up this year from the governor's office of the state of Indiana to enter into a new type of health department funding, which would have radical increases in the money coming into the county with the expectation that we would do things that we haven't done before. And so that's what we are looking and excited about doing. The board was very gracious about willing to take on that responsibility. Stephanie has worked overtime with her board to come up with plans of how to achieve those goals that were pretty much set out by the state. And so she's here to report those to us today. So Stephanie, you are on.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming to the first ever visit that the health commissioner has had in Parke County. Jim represented, and we also had representatives from the council, and I think that you heard a lot of enthusiasm. And also knowing that this is our foundational year of building capacity to be able to fulfill what they call our core services that any public health department through the state of Indiana should be able to take on and tackle. And so, as Jim indicated, there are the core services that we have been tasked with, and we have been busy doing an internal audit of where do we have opportunities, where are our gaps and our shortfalls, and how do we augment those services to make it better for the citizens of Parke County and to really help them understand, and all of us understand, what role does public health and the health department play in the day-to-day health and lifestyle of our citizens. So a lot of work underfoot. We have monthly meetings called Health First Parke County, and we have a variety of key stakeholders. Marcy Graves, who was at the last commissioners meeting, will be attending tomorrow so that we can get all of those services out to the local daycare providers, and just, you know, it's all about connections, and so thank you for sending her our direction. But today I have a couple of contracts before you that I worked with Wallace Law Firm at the direction of you, Commissioner Neeson, and also Nick with Taylor Powell to form.
Did you find Nick competent to work with? He was okay?
Actually, my law partner did
Taylor.
this.
Oh, okay.
Taylor was the one.
I was out of town.
Okay.
So
Well, I
with
appreciate that.
Yeah, so with that being said, part of our first year initiative is to form a very formal relationship with the ambulance service. And that work is called, in a lot of terms, mobile integrated health. But what that really means is that we know that we have a lot of citizens in Parke County that have what we call social determinant of health issues, meaning they have access to care issues, they have financial shortfalls, they just have all in all hardships. And so a lot of times they call 911 without having any other mechanisms or means for transportation. And the ambulance service and the sheriff's department dispatch find themselves on an intersection of how do we help this patient safely stay within their home and their confines and be able to be successful. Versus just hauling them to the emergency department. And so that's what this is largely there to help support, is what we had appropriated in our budget. So this is nothing that has not been appropriated. This is me just bringing back the formal contract with the appropriated amount that we already approved and said we would do, and the deliverables of the ambulance service. Now, typically, you wouldn't see this between a county department and another county department, but as part of the Senate Enrolled Act, Bill 4, we have to have that transparency of this funding strategy, and then from the approval at this meeting, then I will post that to the state website for 30-day transparency, for 30-day notice. And then that way, then, with the work that we already have underfoot in this first quarter of the year, we will be able to do, and you saw that I put in there biannual drawdown. So I knew that with us getting our footing and getting these contracts put in place, it was going to be a little bit of a stretch to do a monthly cycle or a quarterly cycle. And I talked to the council and see, do you have a preference? So we're going to do a biannual shore up of those funds and the 104,000 mark that's in the contract back to the ambulance service for the work on this. So we've already started ordering our supplies that were appropriate in that, but for transparency purposes, this contract has to come through for approval. But again, no surprises. It's what we said we would deliver in the amount that we said that we would deliver in the governor's budget and what was appropriated in the fall for us by the council for this specific line.
Sure.
The second contract that is in there is for the outsourcing of public health emergency preparedness coordinator. That is the role that, oh, and by the way, on contract one, Julie and I have worked lockstep together on the language of this and the formation. So there's absolutely no surprises from a 360 perspective on that.
And I sent that to her again, just to make sure all those things were as you had
She's like,
discussed.
yep. So the second one is the public health emergency preparedness, and as we have done our internal audits, I will tell you that with our current employee that does the food and the sanitation pieces of that, I mean, that position is part of our governor's appointed funding, but it has really grown by leaps and bounds with the mobile food units or the pop-ups, with all the festivals that we have in town. The demands on that position is really growing, and we have identified that we have a lot of opportunities as a health board to help make sure we have the right resources in the right places at the right time, not to mention all of the growing scrutiny around septics and the infrastructure pieces that is coming down the pike. And so we really feel like what we need to have is that focus on that role. The public health emergency preparedness piece of that is what the board recommended for the approval of. Well, first of all, to outsource that to a 1099 individual to help us support that, because we only have 1.5 full-time employees in the health department. And so this would be a 1099 arrangement for the appropriated amount that the board recommended that the council put back to us for decision making. So that was already actioned by the board in terms of what their approval was, and the deliverables are pretty self-explanatory into what is there. And all of this is coming from our internal audit and identifying where we have gaps, because not everybody can do everything and be successful at it. And it's not an admission or a failure, it's just that we need the resources as we're growing as a health department in our responsibility scope.
I can speak, because I've been to so many commissioner meetings involving these health department things. The vast majority, Bruce too has been there, the vast majority of counties have a very difficult relationship with their health board. It's all territorial, it's more about each of them rather than the services they render to the people who put them there in the first place. We are very excited that we are not one of those counties that don't have that relationship. Our health department in the past years have been severely limited by the funds available. So the governor has stepped up, the state legislature has stepped up with this plan. They want these services, whether it be shots, tests, feeding, transportation, whatever those might be that people need, those can be done now. And the funding will change from our typical funding, I think was, you help me here, what was our normal funding range? 40-some thousand, 50-some thousand, going up to nearly 400,000 here in the next couple of years, and that'd be state, not county general tax dollars. Those are state funds coming in to do those services. So I'm thrilled that you're willing to take them on. I'm thrilled we're going to have those services for our people. Nick, is there anything on these contracts we need to?
No, they're standard basic contracts.
Okay.
The only thing you really need to read is the services part. There's an opt-out section after 30 days if you are unhappy.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so we made it, so we have the leverage of the county to be able to shift gears quickly if we don't get the deliverables that we need, because I think we've been in a situation before where we didn't have the leverage. But I would also say back on the EMS contract that I did have Julie check with your certificate of insurance and your provider to make sure we didn't need to do anything different in terms of a policy to cover these services. It's what we're doing now, it's just not formalized. So we did make sure that the certificate of insurance was covered.
And that's the good thing about having a relationship with the department of our caliber that we have, is that if any of these things change or we get into this, we find, oh, we need to do this some other way, then we just do it some other way. We get a new contract and do it a better way. We're not here to tie down anybody into anything. We're here to get it done as best as we can get it done for the money that we have to do it with. So I'm excited that you've taken that on, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. And then the other notice that I have is that we've had, and I did announce this to the board a week ago, is that we have had a change in the nursing position at the health department, meaning that our current provider, who is supplied through Union through the contract, Sandy Rogers, she has taken on a role for primary care in the Union Health family. So she will be at Dr. Swain's office, full-time situated. Not part of the health department moving forward, but I am very pleased to announce that Natalie Cole will be joining us as the health nurse in the health department capacity moving forward. And her first day will be April the 15th.
Great. I think you've done well. So is there a motion to adopt these contracts as presented?
Make a motion to adopt 2 contracts for the health department as presented.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You have copies for us to sign? You want to use, mine has copy written on
Mine
it.
has copy on it.
The only place I could find was this health department, this one that said the commissioners, the other one didn't need
I
it.
can send it out to you to make sure it has the right signature lines tomorrow if you want. I thought it
The
had all
one's just
3
gonna be signed by
health board
the-
commissioners
yeah.
and-
This other one is signed
By the health
for or on
department.
behalf of the health department. So would that be Jim or you?
No,
Doesn't matter.
And then the other is
Whatever
the
you guys
independent
want.
contractor.
which would be Jew.
The board of the Parke County Health Department Board Chairman.
That'd be you, yeah.
And then
Okay.
it'd be the commissioner on the second line.
All right. So Nick, I signed where it says independent contractor?
Independent contractor.
No.
No,
No, you think
wrong
so?
contract.
The other one, he's
I signed
already
that
signed.
one. But on the, on
Sign
this,
this one.
you got a
right
choice
here.
of health department and then choice for this, the independent
Then on
contractor.
this one, there's just the
I
health
would've had
department
the-
and independent contractor.
I can do an amendment and send it to you
Yeah, I
for
would have
the
had her
appropriate
sign this
signature
one
line
and then
tomorrow, and I'll
independent
just
there,
grab
because
it.
they're actually
Okay.
contracting with the health department directly.
So you want those changed around the other way?
I would have had her sign
She
that.
can fix them, just send us new ones, we'll
I'll
sign
send
them.
you the
Yeah.
and I'll grab them for you this week.
Okay,
And I'll go ahead
You
and
can
post
get,
it.
you can get to her now and make those corrections, just get us those copies and then
All right.
let me know when they're at the courthouse, I'll stop in and sign
Thank you
them.
so much, I appreciate
You're
you.
doing great, good job.
Thanks, Stephanie.
All right, we're going to insert one more new business we have here. Actually, I guess that would be old business, it's just next in line. Mark Davis from the Trails Association. Come on up, Mark, tell us what you got. If you remember some time ago, we had that old bridge at Bridgeton, that old iron bridge.
Iron Bridge, yeah.
And it's getting in bad shape. It was maintained for a while by the Bridgeton Bridge Association, but there was another group. It was Merrill Thompson and Emma Thompson. I can't remember the name of the group, what they called the name of their group. But they maintained that bridge, but of course they're both unable to do that, and that association doesn't exist anymore. So that bridge was basically falling disrepair. It was not in line anymore. It wasn't being used anymore. It had been bypassed many, many years ago. So the trails, when they began their process and got their grant from the state to do the trails as they go along, had to ask about that possibility of using that bridge. In fact, I think I suggested at the beginning to make life for on places where they need bridges. So we approved at that time, whatever year that was, to allow them to move that bridge and put it in back, give it life again, use it again. So that's what Mark's here for today.
Right, and just wanted to stop in and let you know that we are moving forward with it. We got the DNR got the permit for the removal has been approved, and all the paperwork as far as IDM and any other requirements has been approved, and we've got all that recorded. So we hope to start that this spring. I've been working with Randy. I wasn't aware of the Randy's situation, current situation.
Randy means highway superintendent.
Randy
yeah.
Norman, yes, and had him review the our plans that we had and the bid and everything that we were going to be doing, because it does involve closing the road for a while. And within that, and he said it was good that we had identified notifying the Sheriff's Department, the County Highway Department, obviously, and the school corporations, if necessary, and I've touched base with them as far as whether there's a school bus route on the road. The road could be closed anywhere from 1 to 4 days probably in the movement, depending on how things work out. But we'll be removing that this spring, restoring it through the summer, and then reinstalling it hopefully later in the fall.
Taking in one piece, just picking up one piece and taking it.
Yeah, we'll be
I want to see that happen.
picking it up, putting it on the road, and then moving it about a quarter mile down the road, setting it off in the field.
Okay.
Already worked it out with the landowner there for the disassembly. Disassembly will take a couple weeks, probably 2 to 3 weeks. Then we'll load it up, haul it to where this is going to be restored, and then bring it back, reassemble it on other landowners, neighbor landowners' property, and once we're there, do the painting and then set it in place.
Be great to see it live again, doing something again.
Yeah.
What about the reclamation of the abutments and where it sits now? What happens there?
But we do intend to utilize all the stones for bollards or different things along the trail. We will restore it, and it's in the plans, and talked to Randy about that. Banks there in Bridgeton, and that was part of our permit requirement for the DNR. And then we're using, like I say, some of them at the new bridge location, setting it there to keep any kind of traffic or vehicles off the bridge.
Okay. When you get close, when that day comes to move it, let us know if you would. I'd like to.
We'll definitely
see
let you know.
that.
I've had a lot of people express interest.
Yeah, we've seen the county bridges picked up and set in place before. I like to see that metal bridge picked up and set in place too.
It's quite the operation. Actually, we got the bids in, and they were like double what we anticipated.
Yeah.
But we're making scope changes on other parts of the project and changing it because we think this is real important, because the bridge is, I mean, most people don't even want to walk on it right now.
No, I mean, who would? And it's a danger to us, to the county, that you've got that there.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, we'll be removing the deck, trying to get a volunteer crew to actually remove the deck that's on there now, and we'll barricade it and put up warning signs and everything once we have that prior to the removal process on there.
It's a win-win operation. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mark, for the update. Okay, let's go down to department. Randy's not here. Chris didn't have anything. Jason.
Couple things. Reported collections.
I should have introduced you as sheriff, I guess. Maybe somebody doesn't know who you are. This is
Sheriff Jason's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Total amount collected year to date, $13,743.22. And then housing out of county inmates, year to date, $93,377. And I need to see about getting my medical contract signed today.
I just had a couple things, nothing alarming, just things I wanted to point out on the contract. It does have a clause in there that says if it's not listed in the contract, it's not covered as far as services by them. So that's just something you need to be aware of, that they've given an exhaustive list of what they will or won't do. Anything else would be extra.
Do you need anybody to look at that list and see if that covers all your needs, or are you comfortable that it's going to have them?
I think we're pretty confident.
I don't think we've ever had a list before where they were specific on what they were going to do, and if it doesn't list it, we're not doing
Sit
it.
in like an appendix section.
It's on page 2, 1.2, scope of services. And it has a clause about specialty and emergency services in it. Other thing to be aware of, it has a $20,000 a year cap on it, and that's what's covered under the contract. It has 25 hours per week, 5 hours per weekday. Any excess will be billed to the county. No holiday services.
So I guess if you have a problem holiday, you just have to call 911 and do that. Okay.
Well, a lot of that's routine with the other medical companies out there. It's
what we're talking about, so you know if you're not aware, the county has to provide medical services to people being held in the jail, and so that's all this is about. We're in the process of changing companies. The last company was not doing what we felt needed to be done, or the sheriff felt needed to be done, so we're making changes. So this is a new contract with a new company, so we're just trying to make sure we got everything covered and make sure that we're where we need to be.
The big thing with the other company, they're moving everyone to RN status, so it's going to increase our contract.
Okay.
And just every year it seems like it's something.
Okay.
So I think this company is more professional and
And I think the other company was down to just a handful of customers
Yeah,
left.
it's down to like 5 counties in Indiana.
Just a couple other things. It indicates it's not considered a breach for them failure to provide coverage due to circumstances outside their control, such as unavailability of employees that
Okay.
meet the criteria.
Okay.
That's a new COVID thing where they're, since
Sure.
then they're having trouble finding
Short-handed.
skilled
Sure.
care. Does allow for modification of contract if the cost to them increases by 10%. There's a 60-day termination notice that you can give, and has auto renewal language in it without the notice, so it auto renew if we don't send 60 days notice.
Okay.
So those were the things I thought were relevant for you guys to be aware of.
Another good thing, we're keeping the same nurse and same doctor. We're just switching companies, so.
So being aware of those things, as long as we're okay with the things we're aware of, you're okay with the rest of the contract?
Yeah. They're standard things. They're just things I wanted to point out.
Okay, and you need that signed today, right?
Please.
Yes. I'd make the motion and then we adopt the contract for the health provider for the jail.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Want us to
Is
sign
this
that
the one
one?
to be signed, or is there original
We'll just take
somewhere?
all the tabs off.
Do you have an original?
You have an original?
No, I didn't get it.
Okay.
Jason?
I haven't marked on that.
I have.
You got an original?
Yeah, if you got a copy, I'll sign that one, that'd be great.
Yeah, you can have that for your file.
Yep.
Let
Thank you, sir.
Jim sign it, and if there's a shortfall, he can take care of that.
I'll just give you a credit card, you just use whatever you need to use. So you want me to sign for, under Parke County, right? Top, right? There's 3 lines there, so that's all it is, not just me. Let me take this apart and just pass that paper around, and then we'll put that back.
Maybe we'll start May 1st.
You want to take this and make a copy of it and then give it to him later? Okay.
I'll take it and then tomorrow I'll put it in his mailbox.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Your delivery guy can pick it up tomorrow at the office.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Okay, Julie is not here. I do want to tell you about something that came up. The ambulance provider for Vermilion County was having some legal issues with his finances. And so it looked like at one point that they were going to have to discontinue service. I was contacted by Tim Yocum, the president of their commissioner board, to see if we could help cover them in that time that they did not have ambulance service if the IRS was to shut him down immediately. So Julie and I met and we talked about what the options were, and I think Julie talked to you too about how that coverage would work. We are able to do that using their personnel, but we would have to hire their personnel as being our staff. Vermilion County would reimburse us then for the amount of that cost, and we couldn't cover that coverage. We said we would do it for 30 days. If we had to go any longer than that, then we'd have to make some other changes, figure something out. Julie is fine with that. She has done all the homework on that, and so should that come up, they got 30 days extension. The gentleman did got 30-day extension, so we haven't had to pull the trigger on that yet. But it may come back up again next month and see if that. But it is a possibility. It won't change a thing for us. Doesn't take any of our ambulances. It's their stuff.
What about their benefits?
We'll figure all that out. Yeah, figure all that out. All right. So that's where we are with that. Katie's not here. Jim Roscoe.
Yes, I got in touch with you concerning the bridge to get back in, what road is that? Five West, by Jay Byers.
South on Captain Road.
There's,
Okay.
narrow bridges on each side, and we can't get equipment in and out there now. It's just, we got a piece of equipment, we was going in there to do some tillage, and we had to unhook it and go get the skid loader to drop it way down in order to clear to get out, and it was caught in there. But anyway, I think it would be better if they could do the bridge up at the north end there, because coming out on the Catlin Road there, on the south end, you can only basically go south.
Yes.
So, was wondering if, and I talked to Mark here about the railroad grade there, the abutments on each side are narrower than the bridge is, and it spoke like it'd be all right to take them out in order to have a wider passage, or, in order to get equipment in and out there.
Yeah, what I told him was, one, we only own half the right of way at that point. Okay, the west side of the right of way is owned by Bishops, so, I have to talk to them or whatever. It's not going to impact any of our plans at this time, so, and I can't speak for the board, but I'm sure that we would be okay with working with anything going on there.
So, is there traffic across that bridge now?
No, it's the old railroad grade.
Okay.
That was the old railroad.
Oh, the railroad bridge, that's what I was confused about, I wasn't sure what you were talking about, okay.
Bridge.
But he's talking about two different things.
Okay.
There's two bridges. There's two,
Okay.
or an abutment and a bridge. The abutment and a bridge right
Okay.
there.
Okay.
So you have no intentions of using that section of railroad grade for the trail?
We have no intention of using the abutments as they are, right?
You know what we're talking about, so.
Yeah, so would all of that be removed on your half, other than Bishop's then, to widen that out enough?
We have no plans of removing that, okay, at this time. But if something worked out of there, we'd be open to discuss it, to see if we can't work something out to maybe even be able to handle half of it. We aren't gonna go north of there. We own half of it, both north and south of the abutments.
Okay.
But there's no plans to go north of the that road right now.
The other thing is, then the other bridge, I take it, just has short walls on it.
Yes.
That-
Yeah.
And they're the concrete walls that stick up high enough you can't get the white machine
Correct,
through.
yes.
Okay, I think what would have to be done there is, the first thing we probably need to do is get with the engineering firm that does the bridge inspections. We need to know if those wing walls are part of the structure
Yeah.
or not, whether they can be removed, whether one of them could, and then offset some guardrail lower and back farther so it would fit through. Is that something you're thinking? Is that kind of what you've got in mind?
Probably, or I'm not even sure what the bridge is rated at, to tell you the truth. I don't think it's rated at much over.
How long a span do you think it is?
I'm gonna say it's probably about 25 feet.
It should be rated then. It may not be posted, but it should have been rated on the inspection.
Yeah.
So I can look at that. I can also get a hold of the engineering firm, but I'm just trying to, through my head, something like a new bridge is probably not gonna happen right away. If that one is, and we've got a lot of other places in the county that's probably the same situation. But I don't know if one of those wing walls could be removed or both of them, and then a guardrail shorter set back off of that.
Right. That would sure help out. to get-
How much width do you need from what's currently there?
It takes at least close to 20 feet practically. for
Okay,
a lot.
how high
so
would it
are you short?
Pardon?
Are you short 2 or 3 feet? Are you short 6 feet?
That one there is only about 16 feet, yeah.
Okay. So
And
it's,
like I said, we'll have to get in touch with Bishop too to find out about,
as far as the railroad grade.
as far as the railroad grade
But the
goes.
bridge
But
itself,
I would say also, I'd say whistle type pipe would,
well, and I wondered about that too, but anytime we put pipes in, we gotta know what the flow is, how many acres it's draining, what the potential is.
yeah.
Which we can find that out, and the engineering firm should have all that information.
Right, and I figured out by being up at the upper end, that catches a lot less drainage too from that point. After you go south, it picks up a couple other, quite a bit other drainage in through there too. Plus the dam is right up above it there.
Yes, with the watershed project on the other side of the road.
And it pretty much holds all the water back.
Okay, I will get in touch with the engineering firm tomorrow. I looked bug Randy, he's got a lot going right now, but I will get in touch with the engineering firm, see what I can find out when they're gonna be back and have them to take a look at it.
Yep.
And see what we can actually do to solve the problem so you get back in there.
Yeah, but I talked to Doug and Max, and they've got the same problem or whatever, we're
Yes.
both trying to get up in there in order to
Yep.
take care of Parke County. I
And
mean, there's other
people that
There's
farm
other
that have
people that
bigger
have had
machines?
problems getting in and out. They had a load of trusses that they threw off there alongside the road because they couldn't get it back up.
Built a house back in there.
Yeah.
But as far as farming, you three are the ones that farm
Yeah.
back beyond that. Okay. I could definitely check with the engineering firm, have him look at it, get with you, find out if there's something we can currently do with the retaining walls that's there to let you get in and out. And
Yeah,
put a
I thought the
guardrail.
same thing too, but like I say, I'm not an engineer and I don't know how much structural support the wing walls have, the
Yes.
walls have on the bridge. But
Yeah, and it depends on how they build it, how they have constructed it, if it's poured in with the top of the mocks or not.
Yeah.
I will get with them tomorrow, get a hold of them, but call in and see what I can find out. At that point, and the only other thing to do is find out, and I may have to bother Randy, call his wife, and I'll have him to call me when he's feeling better and find out if he has any intentions of a whistle or if he has information if a pipe can actually be put in there.
I sure appreciate it.
And really feeling wise, Andy's okay, Randy's okay, he was at the dinner the other night for
Was
helping,
he?
so he's just got an eye issue yet with, not working right, but
So I'll get a hold of him, the engineering firm, I'll get back with you sometime this week and let you know,
All right.
so.
That's it? That was easy.
In the meantime, you may have to drag that EM out of the shed or something for the next week or two. That 12-foot disc.
Okay. All right, Cole.
Well, first of all, this with Randy, the highway superintendent, I wasn't aware that he was out with health issues, so I don't know how much that would impact this. But I just
permitting, right?
Well,
Yeah.
sort of. I got a little printout here of what we're looking to do. On that little packet I gave you, that's a copy of some meeting minutes for y'all. Almost 2 years ago, Elizabeth James with our company, she came and explained that we would need to attach the bridge up at Portland Mills. And at that time, the board approved for us to attach a conduit and run a fiber optic cable along the bridge. Well, that time is now here, and I got a hold of Randy and asked him how do you want us to go about this? You know, it's your guys' bridge, and he said that I would have to address the board and get an approved method of attachment. So that's why we're here today. I've got myself.
Dan would be the guy to talk to, but all I can say on that, I know something we can do. But we've had problems in the past when cable's been run through the bridge instead of under attached. It's actually been through the bridge, and we couldn't do stuff to the bridge before because I had cables run through it that we didn't even know were supposed to be going through there. So that's why we do this process now.
Oh, absolutely,
So
yeah.
It just worked out.
And this is the concrete bridge you were talking about.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
Just north of Portland Mills boat ramp there.
I know which one you're talking about now. Which I have no problem with it either, but for the same token, I do think we need to get with the engineers and see where they want it. Because I know what you're drilling in the I-beams, they're probably gonna recommend some type of a hanger clamp to the beam.
Yeah, we've got.
Do you know what weight you're talking about?
It's a 2-inch conduit with.
It's 2-inch EMT that we're gonna be using, so.
So
in all
it's not
honesty,
really much.
Not very much, and then we're gonna run a 96 count fiber again. It's not a very heavy.
So the weight's not gonna be an issue, it's just getting it out of the way where water
Yes,
and
and
that
then-
sort of thing and drainage on the bridge don't affect it.
And then we would have to have a boom truck with an articulating platform for the work to be completed, and you'd have to.
In order for us to attach to with the brackets that we were discussing, we have to get an articulated bucket platform to be able to come over the side, to be able to work safely as opposed to being down below.
So you'll need a rating on that bridge too then?
Yes. And also with that articulating platform bucket, it's a wide piece of equipment. So we would have to shut that bridge down. We're not talking about shutting it down for a full 48 to 96 hours. We're just talking like from 8 to 5.
What happens down the road someday if that bridge needs worked on, needs new floor or something, how hard are you guys gonna get to move the cable?
It shouldn't be that difficult. For the most part, it's just a call into our company and get our construction department involved and just let them know that bridge is either getting worked on or getting fixed or being removed even.
Okay.
Well, and with that, where we're planning on running our pipe, if that bridge gets resurfaced, it won't bother it at all. The only way that pipe would ever have to get moved is if that bridge gets replaced.
Completely, yeah.
One I was talking about, we have one now that I just cleaned the sediment off from the winter. It's ATT, I think, but it's got a line and a big metal conduit going across the bridge that we had nothing to do with when it happened. It just happened. Now we're stuck with it until such time. So if it comes to having to do anything to that bridge, and ATT says they're not going to move it, now you got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah, I had that discussion with them once. They wouldn't move a pedestal off of where we had to have the ambulance go. They went on for a couple of years. They just didn't come do it. It was a commissioner meeting about 15 years ago, and I said, well, I can move it. That's not a problem. How did that go? But you need to come do that. And they did finally, but those things sneak in. We tried to fix that with this process, so we appreciate you coming and doing it.
Well, that's why we're here. We
appreciate
want to
that.
cross all our T's and dot all our I's.
We appreciate that.
So,
Question on them lines that are buried in the road right of ways and stuff. Is there a certain depth they should be put in whenever they put them in?
When Joint come here, we told them the minimum depth we wanted in our right of way.
Yeah, because so many times the disc
they're every place.
They're everywhere.
Down just a little bit and there's a line.
We get into them. We get into our ditches and their lines, and they want to sue us like it's our fault. We didn't even know they were there. They laid them years ago. Nobody ever asked or said anything. They just put lines in the ditch.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's one, well, whenever you're running the mower along the roads, they don't keep their, just keep going.
Up on 400.
Over with a mower, that's a problem.
There's been many a phone line wrapped up because they just lay them on top of the ground.
I was getting ready to say, up on 400, we had a friend who lived up there. He's gone now. Bill Sworn, if you were, Bill Sworn lived up there. I'm up there one day and I see, that's what I see. They got a phone line laying on top of the ground, just on top of the ditch. It's not even buried, not even attempted to be buried. So it just amazes me.
So not to drag this on, but if I could, on talking about that point right there, we are going minimum 36 inches. I mean, that is the spec that Spectrum has.
And that's what we need to know. We don't do that stuff. That's good to know that that's the depth that we need
well,
to be.
We've actually done a lot of work in Parke County already, and we've implemented that.
Great.
Yeah.
So that is for mainline. I want to reiterate that's for mainline service.
Yeah,
for
good point.
drops going to homes,
Yeah.
that's handled by a
whole different.
Gotcha.
And usually they'll just go under the sod with, but that'll only ever come off one time.
Right.
Which one of these numbers, which one of you guys do you want me to contact after I talk to Randy and?
So I'm Cole King.
Yep.
I'm the second from the bottom there.
Yep.
Gentleman in the gray shirt here, this is my boss, JC Offit. He's the one at the very bottom. The top number there is Mr. Chris Morris. He's the Regional Safety Director for Urban Cable. They're our contractor. I've been working pretty closely with him to make sure that we do this right the first go-round.
Good.
And this is Andrew Rayford. I'm not sure what your title is.
I'm the project manager for the Crawfordsville office.
But yeah, he's out of the Crawfordsville office here.
So what you're saying is basically you don't know what to call him.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, I wouldn't want to say it here.
Okay.
So I'll just call you after I
That's-
talk to
yeah,
Randy
yeah.
and the engineering firm tomorrow. I'll get in touch with you.
That would be great.
We appreciate
If
you
you
checking
need to-
with us first.
Yes.
I appreciate
I'll
it.
probably be helping Randy out a little bit on some of this stuff that he can't be dealing with, so
Yeah.
I can probably meet you out there.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of his health condition, so.
Okay. Okay.
Do we want to discuss a time frame so they know kind of where, as far as
Yeah.
when the
Hey, did you get a hold of the crane operator?
well, as far as the actual time frame for this particular area?
Yeah, we're hoping to have the entire project completed by the end of July.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Just this one build.
Ah, okay.
Gotta be real careful.
Yeah,
We're
well,
not
I
done
don't,
Okay.
I don't mean the bridge attachment, I mean everything that the bridge attachment services, but we're hoping to have that completed by end of July. So, of course, we're trying to get the bridge attachment done sooner than later,
Well,
but,
once I get this information, you can still go to the county highway department, talk to them about closing the road, so they've got a few days' notice, so it can be run ad in the paper, can be put on their Facebook thing, so we're not getting a lot of phone calls. That part is still just minor. Once I get this taken care of, where the engineers prefer it out of the way, then you guys just deal with the county highway, whoever's taking care of things at the time that you want to close the road. Don't show up in the morning and say, hey, we're going to close the road.
Yeah.
Give them time to put it in the paper so people live around there can plan ahead.
And the secretary will have a permit
Yeah.
before you fill out.
Yes, you do have a permit.
Great. As far as when you reach back out to me, I'll probably get the contact information for Mike Wood or whoever's taking over for Randy. I'll get that from you later when you reach back out.
It will be this week. I'll get
Great.
back with you.
I appreciate it.
This week.
Okay, that it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for coming, guys. We do appreciate you checking ahead of time.
Thank you.
Was that just as easy as his?
Well, yeah.
No, thank
All right.
you very much, folks. Appreciate it.
Anybody else have anything for the cause today? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All fair say aye.